everybody. I was trying to move this somewhere where you could actually see more of what we're going to talk about here. I wanted to look at some of the collective stuff that we might really want to be addressing in order to enjoy ourselves in the future. I've written down on here the 1st, the 3rd, and the 9th. These each reflect both, you can access these 3 notes through your own chakras, your 1st, 3rd, and 9th. And then obviously that's the doorway into those dimensions. And what I wanted to discuss was the fact that there is a chord that is being played that affects humanity in a huge way, and that we'd probably like to clean up. So if, let's see this way. 1st, 3rd, 9th. Dimensions are like bubbles. They're and you can imagine that if the source was just a big old bubble blower, when all the bubbles pop, you're back at source. And all the bubbles are made from source. And they are endless. And those that have more air blown into them become bigger bubbles. And then there are bubbles within bubbles within bubbles. Isn't that lovely? Let's go with bubbles. So within, the 3rd dimension, there's bubbles within bubbles within bubbles. Within the 9th, no, I'm not even going to touch on that. We're really sore right now about the fact that I'm exposing the fact that we can even talk about the 9th openly. There's a lot of paper pushing right now about that fact. Like, oh, wait a minute. It's like, come on, guys, catch up. So, in order to clean up and allow more space for the new, which is natural and necessary, again, spiritual community, why we're not talking about the actions that we need to take enough to access what we see. Anyway, you can, people talk about that, pop in your bubble, don't pop my bubble, right? So that's like we've breathed air into a state of existence, which is dimensionality, because then that means that, within some level of time and space, and then somebody comes along and pops your bubble, right? And so what I wanted to work with here is actually popping bubbles. The problem is that some of the bubbles that I would love for us to all start working on popping are very noxious. And the reason that they're noxious is because the tones used to create that outer shell, outer ring of the bubble, I mean, for lack of better words, I'd say misaligned. That's not it exactly. It's when somebody makes a contract or a deal and not all of the information is actually apparent. So there's a lack of light and clarity in these bubbles. And that, so they won't fit. They're not going to be a part of where I'm headed anyway. I mean, I don't know what everybody's up to, but I remember where I came from. So if you want to get where I am, or you know that you come from where I do, or whatever, this is just like, it's funny because you can know where you are, you can tap into your future, but how can you play the notes that connect them? So the bubbles, and we need to pop them. But in popping them, so right now, everybody's really excited about their galactic family coming online, right? And rightly so, because they're so here, guys, and it's so wonderful for all of us. A big reunion happening. I love it. Those of us that can work on the outside, it's in one of my chakra videos. I know I said something for a second. I'm like, I'm on the outside or whatever. So those of us that can work from the outside, or are working from the outside in, are working on deconstructing these matrices, these grids. Yeah, like the grid. When you hear people talk about that, that's kind of like the outer ring of the bubble. So there's a lot of work going on for that, and that's going pretty well. What I'm not seeing is the inner work of the fact that if this gets dismantled before what's within here has brought itself into coherence, it won't remain. It's like it's too premature. So it won't remain embodied. In order to remain embodied, we need to fully develop in here. And part of that development is coming into right relation and seeing clearly. You can't participate in a dimension that you're not in coherence with or capable of playing those notes. So I would dare to say that most everyone has cleanup to do around this chord, personal cleanup. And a large part of what that personal cleanup would be, there's a, oh God, man, they are really fucking pissed. There are those around me right now, they're so pissed. Shit. Sorry, I need to kind of have some of those removed from the room, kind of. Okay, so what that cleanup would be, we're going to look at the hypnotism. This chord is producing a state of hypnotism that actually, the issue is that humanity actually, there are anybody still in this, you're participating directly yourself too. The funny thing is that most of humanity probably isn't hypnotized in this state anymore, and it's just those of us select few that actually we're part of this whole creation that are still holding it down. Oh God. Okay. So this chord being played is doing a lot of different things. But the one thing that we want to focus on right now is that it is holding a carrier tone amongst all different other little subtones. I'm like bringing you right into the freaking city on this one. That is allowing humanity's energy to be siphoned and fed to the select few. If you have any issues with things like the Wall Street and the way that the economy works, and the fact that, those second home communities are people living off of the dividends created by the energy of the masses, that hologram into our waking reality. I'm not really going to give, into our waking, quote unquote, waking reality, that hologram of reality, that is the echo effect of this chord. This is one of the main predominant chords that's being played that holds that echo effect to continue returning. So what's necessary is for us to make direct contact with that chord if we want to participate in dismantling it. So, or attuning it, reattuning it. Obviously, there needs to be some balance with this. Then it's wonderful too, the way you can see with the numbers, the odd with the electric, the even in its magnetic state. I'd personally put the fourth here. I can't actually put the right numbers because we haven't remembered the right numbers yet for these dimensions, because they start going before where we've put the first. We're still like linear, we're confused, but anyway, so I can't put the numbers, but the numbers would be magnetic in nature rather than electric, and the fourth would be involved for sure. Feels like both the other ones are below, interestingly, but I'm not sure. I haven't, anyway. That would bring us more into some resonant creation. But for now, we're dealing with the fact that we need to, or no, we don't need to. Sorry, I get all like that, but really, no, you don't need to do shit. Freaking sit on your couch and smoke cigarettes for all I care. I mean, everybody has the right to behave, to be in the hive as they naturally are. That's what's happening with this, is that all of this outer grid work is getting realigned in a way where all contracts will be seen, all relation will be in light, in the light. So if you feel called to address that anomaly in the echo we are experiencing, I invite you to access it through the first, third, and ninth, and to find where in, well, no, to travel through them. You enter these dimensions, and the world that's been created through playing this chord. This is a dimension of hell, I guess some would say. I can get in and out easily, so it doesn't really bother me that it exists, but when you go in there, that's where you can find the sleeping hordes. That's where there is actually, I don't mean to say these kind of things, because anything I say you can wipe away. But you can find perfect. This is a good way to put it. If you have a social security number, you're in there. Okay? Yeah. So when you go in there, you find where we are as far as a part of what we need in order to be embodied in the Eden that we're creating is in there. It's like it's where we're sleeping. A subinducted state that is not of our own making in the individualized context, but it is being made. And the fact that we're in there echoes it back out well, they don't allow the echo to go there, actually, because that's like the elite hall, and that's like a big problem of it, is because of a block that's here so that the echo can't reach there. Everything that would be going there is pouring back out too. So this is where then, for the mass of humanity is experiencing hell through the first and third lens. Sorry, I'm getting the you're too heady trip in my own head, so. Plus, maybe you can't even hear me, that would suck. So it's getting in here and cleaning this out that will stop the feed. And to be honest, so this block that's here is at this level. So those of us that can be outside, we're working on this block. And there's going to be an accountability, and that'll be really exciting. Like, people need that, and we want to experience that. And how we're going to experience that is by doing the inner work, so that, and we're doing the outer work, and that then there will come a time that this will land on a parallel field where that first and that third can witness and exchange with that ninth. This one's fucking bloated right now a little bit, but oh my god, that's one. Anyway, so if you were to flip this, and that will bring us right to reason, okay? And then that will be when there will be the shift for all of humanity, that, that's what we're working towards, okay? So we got to go in there. And, but I think I'm going to leave it, fucking 20 minutes of gobbledygook again. Anybody that can goddamn understand any of this, touche, and let's have a party, right? I'd love to riff with anyone that has this level of fractured consciousness, and can come back to the center cohesion. I don't need to only dance on the surface. So, let's do it. Any takers? I know how to get in and out of there. And there's a very good chance that so do you, actually, if you kind of think about this. So I'm interested. Let's pause. Thanks.